Aloha and mahalo for taking a few minutes with me as I share a brief update of our Maui Fire Relief, Recovery, and Rebuild efforts. It's great to have you watching. Just over 2 months ago, wildfires ravaged several locations on the Hawaiian island of Maui. As you know, the most drastically affected area is Lahaina, a small town on the western side of the island. 2 of our Church of God churches were impacted. Lahaina New Life Church of God suffered the loss of the 2 places of employment where Pastor Catherine Kakahuna worked to make a living. Her house was spared, but both her income and the church's was negatively affected. The historic Lahaina building of International Christian Fellowship Church of God was completely destroyed in the flames. Along with the worship center and discipleship areas, the apartment used as a dwelling for their music and youth pastor and his family was also lost. Our great Church of God Ohana, our family from across the mainland and several foreign countries, has been great to partner with us in prayer and financial support. Thank you to every individual, family, local church, state, regional office, international department, Church of God World Missions, our Covenant Ministry team, and the International Executive Committee for all you have done to make a difference here. It has been significant. As we look back over the 10 weeks since the fires, we see so many causes for thankfulness. Number 1, the displaced families from Lahaina are finally beginning to settle into their temporary new normal. Some have been able to find rental residences, others are living with family and friends, and many are living in hotel rooms provided by FEMA. One of our Church of God congregations from Kentucky was joined by several others from the state to help bring financial relief to each of the displaced International Christian Fellowship Church of God families. Candy and I got to be in service the day the team from Kentucky were on island and giving out the assistance. It was touching and a definite blessing. The Mountain City Church of God in Tennessee were burdened that most of the people in the ICF church lost their Bibles in the fire. They raised money, purchased and shipped brand new Bibles that enabled every person in the ICF congregation to have their own new Bible. North Cleveland Church of God Kids Ministry with Pastor Mitch Owens raised money, purchased and shipped a brand new guitar for ICF worship pastor Jason Albino. We were able to present the guitar and play a video from the NCC Kids at our recent Hawaii Men's Conference. Through the generous donations received from across the denomination, we've been able to purchase 2 new computers, one to replace the media department's burned up computer, the other to replace the finance department's computer that was lost in the fire. Through a generous gift, we were able to purchase 1-year subscription of Flock-based church management software. When we made them aware of ICF's loss, Flock-based donated an additional year subscription. This is huge as the previous records and accounting system were lost in the fire. ICF has been invited to use, free of charge at this point, the building of Grace Bible Church in Kahului. They meet on Sundays at 1 p.m. With members spread out across the island, several Bible studies have also been launched in various areas. This has expanded the reach of the church and may prove to be fertile soil for future new campuses or church plants. During our initial phase of relief, we were able to take many photos and videos showing the efforts. As we've moved into the recovery phase, it has become more difficult to do so. Now, this does not mean, however, that we are not working. In fact, we continue to do significant work with both New Life and ICF. One of the things we are doing is paying the salaries of both Pastor Benny Mariano of ICF and Pastor Catherine Kakahuna of New Life. We have raised enough money to ensure this through January 2024. International Christian Fellowship had several staff members who were employees of the church. We are also able to pay their salaries through January. With so many members and attendees of ICF having lost their places of employment, we closely monitor the finances of the church and have enacted a graduated partnership plan whereby we guarantee the financial solvency of the church. Each week I receive an income and expense report from the treasurer. The church covers the percentage of expenses they can afford, and the Maui Fire Fund covers the remaining percentage. We will do this until the church is once again able to consistently cover 100% of their expenses. Our Hawaii State Office team is providing ongoing pastoral care to the leadership of both New Life and ICF through monthly visits, shared meals, fellowship, prayer, and contact. The Church of God Office of Ministerial Care is providing professional counseling to the pastor and staff from ICF as they learn to cope with all that's happened to them as they lost everything in the fire. We have been able to provide scholarships and are covering air transportation to the required seminars for 4 CAMS ministerial candidates and 3 MIP students from the ICF congregation. Covering these costs enable the students to utilize this unique season to pursue their calling into ministry. We will likely be in this recovery phase for quite some time. Out of an abundance of caution, the Hawaii government is limiting access to the burn zone. They have a grid system set up where they escort residents in for timed visits. They are providing appropriate PPE to protect residents from the asbestos, ash, and other pollutants that are abundant in the sites. They are currently serving Zone A. Our church is in Zone C, Section 11. It could be several weeks or months before they can get to our properties there. Once we are allowed in, cleanup will be a slow and painstaking process. Needless to say, we are all learning patience. Our final phase will be rebuilding. Realistically, the start of this phase is 2 to 3 years away. Before individuals, businesses, and organizations like a church can begin to rebuild, the government must replace the totally destroyed infrastructure. In the meantime, we are working on the finances to help the church be ready to rebuild. They are insured, but for an amount that will likely cover only a quarter or perhaps a third of the cost of rebuilding. None of the relief, recovery, or rebuild process is cheap, but the most drastic financial need is still ahead. I invite you to continue to pray for us and the Maui congregations affected. Also, I ask you to prayerfully consider continuing to support the Maui Fire Fund as we look toward the future and toward rebuilding. Blessings and mahalo for watching.